Alrighty. Welcome back. Hello, everybody, to the Peak Anime Podcast.
Oh, man, it's been a while.
Too long. Way too long.
Not only has it been a while, it's just nice to be in person
Yes.
to do this.
Video.
Ooh.
Have we ever done this? We've done this in
A
person
live
before.
action
Just not
podcast.
in a live action podcast. Perfect timing.
Yeah, pretty much.
We did a live action adaptation as well. It was just a podcast, not a story.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of is the good segue of today. We're going to be talking, seeing as it's been pretty recent and definitely, maybe not technically anime, but it's in the same realm. It's in the same scope of anime. We're going to be talking about the live action One Piece series.
Because it always goes back to One Piece.
It always does.
It will
That's
always.
what this podcast should be called.
Until we all finish One Piece, it will always go back to One Piece.
Even then, it will always go back to One Piece because then we'll all just have more to talk about together.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. The One Piece.
Oh no.
But I guess there's we could just kind of start with some of the general big very overarching things.
Yeah.
How were you feeling about the One Piece live action series before watching One Piece live action?
Ooh. In one word, worried.
Yeah.
Trepidatious, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some I haven't seen a lot of live action adaptations, thankfully. And the only one I've seen which is absolute dog shit on fire in a dumpster falling down a hill is Death Note.
Yeah, that one's atrocious.
And I just I don't think you can just even make a movie that bad, even if One Piece ended up being bad. It was not going to be as bad as the Death Note movie.
No.
So
no,
I didn't have a lot of expectations in the terms of I didn't have a bar set because I didn't know I had not been really educated on what came before live action adaptation was.
Right.
So I was kind of just oh, this should be good. I just thought because I know how much Oda cares about that story and how much he needs it to be faithful, I knew that just knowing that alone, it was going to be at least decent.
Yeah.
But it was
Very
even
much.
better than decent. I really enjoyed it.
I say I was worried, but I was also super hopeful knowing the depth that he was inside dealing with the show itself. He wasn't off to the side letting them do what they want to do.
Yeah.
He had a hand in pretty much everything, it seemed.
Yeah, I think for myself, I'd say that it was definitely I was stressed. I was stressed. I was
Knowing
hopeful.
Knowing the past of live actions,
Yeah.
it's not something that is
Yeah,
And it
looked
came at a
upon
great time too because almost everybody I know that's watched One Piece started it last year. Almost everybody.
Yeah.
So it's a perfect time for this to happen.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people have gotten on the bandwagon low key, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You
No.
want more people to talk to about it. You want more people to watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, geez, the amount of my friends now that have watched the live action that would never have touched the anime ever.
Yeah, that's big.
And
Like
I
my
think
sister.
that this is where my worry was.
We have one.
originally.
By the way, we have the first episode of One Piece on the TV behind the camera. Right
Oh,
now,
God,
on
it's-
mute.
Alvita's about to give a beatdown, and by
It's
give a beatdown, I
actually
mean
crazy
receive a beatdown.
How different Kobe looks in the series.
But also, I
love the
do-
old style.
well,
I love the old style of
Me too.
animation, man.
'Kay.
Them 90s, early 2000s animations is amazing.
It's so
Sorry.
good. Well, it was amazing for what it was, you know.
It's so good. But the
Okay.
live action, yes.
Back to the live action. I was definitely worried, but hopeful because I saw what I feel like I could see what the potential of it was. Like you're saying, with how people are kind of coming into it, and it's really a perfect time with so many big arcs coming to a close and everything.
Yep.
The movie Red, they have a lot of things going on, and this is just another opportunity for them to continue that story going.
It allows them to bring a lot more people into the story as well.
Yeah, because the actual fact that it's an anime is what is alienating it from being so commonplace.
Plus,
And
plus
also
the
low-
length of it.
Low key, the dub just came to Crunchyroll too, so that's gonna get a lot more people to watch.
Oh my
it as
gosh,
well.
yeah. I mean, Dub's at over 1,000 now. It's coming
They're
in
in
the
Wano,
next
right?
couple of weeks.
They're in Wano?
Yeah,
They've been in Wano.
I think they're in Oni.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty big.
Yeah. They're they're
That's good.
in it.
That's good.
But so I guess that was our kind of idea going into it. Overall, very general touch base. How did you guys like it?
I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I couldn't binge it in the same way you binge anime because an hour can be overwhelming. Even though you watch 7 anime episodes in a row, there's something about being able to like take that break in between.
Yeah, you have your commercial break.
They feel a lot less filled sometimes in an anime, like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was faithful. I really liked how they like casted the Straw Hats to where Oda said they would be from, like, and they all really knew their characters. It seemed like, even though like it's clear in some of like the cast interviews that like not all of them watch anime or have even really watched One Piece beyond what they need to, but that's fine. That's not what they're there for.
Yeah,
they're there to adapt what they're told to adapt, and they did those characters justice, I think, and for the most part. And I hope that even the Japanese cast and Oda is looking at it going like,
yeah,
we did it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because they did. I think they did. Because they did it all. They did it all right. They didn't like the only CGI was what had to be CGI. The ships were fully built for the show.
Yeah,
like they
that
fully
was
built the
cool.
Baratie. They fully built the Mary.
Yeah.
They did all that.
The
shit.
sets were phenomenal.
They had a budget because it's One Piece.
yeah.
They funny fact, they actually had a bigger budget than Game of Thrones did per episode.
Yep.
Which is crazy to say.
Not that surprising though when you think about how many scenes, how many different scenarios, sets they literally had in each of these like
different ships.
hour-packed episodes. Because that's another thing. You are chugging through the story.
Yeah.
Like-
That's 40 episodes or 45 episodes in 8 episodes. Which
In
is
8
crazy.
hours. Yeah.
And
Which
I think they compacted it pretty damn well. Like,
No,
yeah.
it flowed really well. The pacing was great. I also thought that like the villains really stood out for me even more than the Straw Hats. I think.
Yeah.
For personally, I really enjoyed the Straw Hats, and I think they casted it great, and I wouldn't change that. But like, who really stood out for me was like Buggy, Kuro, especially Captain Kuro. I really liked, and Garp. I really liked Garp, even though he's not technically like the villain.
yeah.
He is an obstacle to the main character, regardless of that.
Yeah. I guess for me, I'd say I was really pleasantly surprised. Like genuinely I was feeling my feels. I was,
Yeah, it made me feel like those
Giddy
things that
again.
actual anime made me feel too.
Yeah.
Like in the way it did.
I think that was really refreshing.
Yeah.
Especially super relieving, just being like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm watching the show, and I understand that it is a different medium, so they have to do things a little bit differently. Like, how they go about telling certain parts of the story or being able to show certain parts of the story. But, like, I think everything that they did show and did do were very faithful. Were done in such a way that it was, like, respectful for all of the fans prior to this,
Yeah.
whilst also still being very respectful to any new fans coming in.
Yep.
It was a very accessible way to learn about that story.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
It's there's something to say about how well they performed for doing a live action in knowing. I don't know. For me, I just like when I enjoyed the live action thoroughly, but I also had like a sense of like excitement knowing that Oda had so much of a hand in things, because I know like with the story that we're already getting,
They didn't Boruto this shit.
yeah, knowing like the story that's already coming out and how solid it's been so far, I'm like, if he's got a piece like a hold on things, it's gonna go fine. It's like that was kind of what was holding me to being like, this is gonna be fine. Like it's not gonna be like other live actions,
Yeah.
Definitely.
which is like, and One Piece is like that's a tall task to ask for, obviously.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you can't get ahead of yourself
Yeah.
with it.
Which I can't get ahead of themselves. They want to do 12 seasons.
What?
They're
I mean, if they go
going
with
to
the
be
pace they're going
45
at, why
years
not?
old by the time skip comes
Let's
around.
go.
Hey, man.
I wonder if they'd actually age them like in real life in the live action adaptation because of that.
Maybe.
But it still is the story. They're not going to be like 2 years later
well,
after
it's
fucking like Skype or some shit.
It's one of those things where like there's the few characters afterwards who do have those like sudden changes in time skip, so there could be recastings. You never know.
Recastings. You
Maybe
think?
unless they just say it's fine. We've already dealing with this. We'll just adjust on the way. Like,
I don't
Yeah.
think they'd recast.
Why
I
not?
think they would probably just be like, okay, listen, the 5 of you, you have a year. Get as
much as
beefy as you possibly fucking can. Age also a bit.
yo, Usopp, we need you to get that 6-pack.
Yeah, true.
Oh my god.
Because there's the few that like you can always continue with. Like Luffy's not gonna change. Like he's gonna look like Luffy no matter what. That guy, like he kind of just is
Inaki,
Luffy,
yes.
man.
Yeah.
Inaki he just epitomizes it. Even in like the few like the interviews you see and stuff like that, he just feels like that same character on and off screen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 20 as well, so like he's gonna look young for so long
Yeah.
for that adaptation too.
I hope that doesn't stop him from getting other roles though. On top of that, because I'd love to see him on other stuff too.
I'd love to see him in other stuff, but like even if he's not like typecasted as Luffy, he's just gonna be busy doing that show.
Yeah.
Because of how much they want to make.
Yeah.
Like all those actors, that's probably what their life is gonna be for the next however many years.
Interspersed with like small projects.
Yeah,
but
interspersed with small roles that they're inevitably gonna get because they just got a big Netflix lead. So.
Okay, so here's another question. We've talked a lot of good about this show. Let's be fair, because we are anime consumers. I know, Ethan, even more so. You're also a manga consumer of the source material.
Big time.
There is a fair amount that gets changed or adapted to this live action. Do you think that what were some of those that were like really apparent to you guys? Mm-hmm. And do you think that these changes were beneficial, or do you feel like they were just like a byproduct of the medium that they were using? You know what I mean?
I think there's a lot of like, sure, like there's gonna be issues with switching over to live action, condensing the show. You're gonna have stuff that's gonna get skipped. Like it's expected. Yeah. I understood that. At the same time, there's always gonna be little nitpicks where you're like, they didn't do that right, they didn't do this right. There's a few things that I'm a little annoyed at, but that's me.
Yeah, like what? Like what?
One of the things I didn't like is how in the beginning when Shanks is talking to, I think it's Hagarum or something like that. Hagara? I don't know what his name is. I don't know what that.
That's Stage of Six Packs.
That's a different dude.
Sorry to beer before this.
That guy.
I was like the wrong anime.
He's one of like the first guys who you see with a bounty, I think.
The mountain bandit.
I think he's a mountain bandit. But like the way they dealt with him with like the put your life on the line, you pulled out a gun, blah blah blah. The man did that from like 7 feet away from each other, whereas it should have been like right beside Shanks. I was disappointed. That's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, that was definitely done differently. There was the Don Krieg part where Hawkeye just popped him before he even got to the Baratier.
Yeah.
I thought that was good and bad, because I was like, oh, you're just like, it just seems like a waste of a character. But also like the Baratier scene with like Don Krieg in the fight with Mihawk, it's more about Zoro. I think we've seen what Luffy's capable of in just the fight last episode with Alvida. So I think that I was fine with that being cut, but that was one of the bigger things that I noticed, at least.
See, I understand that at the same time, but I feel like that fight with Luffy and Don Krieg is important because it let Luffy show like his determination to even fight through that little spike shield the man has. No matter what, he's still gonna push through and do what he wants to do, type of thing.
To a degree,
You did get
it
that
is
in
good
Arlong, though, where he
foreshadowing.
literally battle axed and
Yes.
then let it all fall onto him.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did that.
But
But
One Piece
that's-
is about showing that consistently.
Yeah, it's the foreshadowing of
Yeah.
it. I will say, I think another thing that I kind of noticed was the clarifying of Garp
Yeah.
as to who he is in the series, why he's following them. Like, part of it I get, because we as, as consumers are able to like halfway through One Piece, you're like, oh, I get the whole complexity of these two, like of Garp and Luffy and that Garp Luffy Ace.
Yeah.
You don't get that to like the 500s.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? Like you
That's
start
like
to
NES lobby level around there kind of thing.
like you start to realize some of that stuff, and you're like, okay, cool. But it's not as clear that you're like, oh right, that dog person in the beginning of the series is the same fella.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've kind of consolidated that and made it a little bit clearer, I think is good.
Yep.
I think it's interesting. I understand also wanting to make sure that, like, if we didn't get told his name the same way that they did in the anime,
Yeah. Just Garp. That's
Yeah.
all we knew him as until NES Lobby,
yeah,
where they revealed they're like, "Oh, he's your grandpa? What?"
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, because
Which they bring in pretty fast in this series. We already know.
That's
In this
what I
series,
mean.
Yeah. Like I feel like they did that to consolidate, so it's like he's the same character. There's no reason for him to have a dog hat on him anymore. Like, sure, that's his thing that he has on his ship.
But even in
like,
the anime, like, he doesn't have it for long. Like in Marineford and stuff, he doesn't even wear it and shit like
Yeah,
that.
no, it's
up
only
to
when he's
NES
on
Lobby,
patrol.
Yeah.
and then after that, he's just a normal like vice
Fashion
admiral.
style change.
I think the thing that also is interesting to me is kind of seeing how that changes other things within the arc.
Yeah.
Because we know that it's Garp, we are now allowed to get away with the whole Don Krieg.
Yeah.
We actually now have a lot more grounded of a reason that Mihawk's in the East Blue. Because that's always kind of like a bit of a
What are you
Mihawk,
doing here,
you just
Be on the Grand
slowly sailed after Don Krieg after absolutely obliterating his
Yeah.
crew. Because you were like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's one left over.
That's what I was confused at. 'Cause I'm like, okay, the man destroyed Don Krieg. How's he supposed to get to Baratier? That's the whole point. He was chasing him still.
Yeah.
Well, no, but that's the thing.
But like they worked around it rather well with the fact that Garp was just like, go after this kid.
Just on the phone, he's like, all right.
But I think
He's my
in
kid.
doing
Go after
that,
him.
they set
Kill my
up a
grandchild.
very like this is why I'm like, I get it and I understand why it's like a little not great, but we start to actually understand the whole system of the warlords.
Yeah.
We're
It brings them in
actually
early.
following Kobe's journey a lot too.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty, like, I think they do a good job of giving us, I mean, we spend a lot more time with Kobe than we do normally.
I thought it was pretty normal. Maybe I'm just misremembering now. But
I think, like, once we leave Kobe here, like, we don't, like, see him or, like, do much with him. Like, there's, like, an occasional, like, aside here and there, but not to the same extent as, like, Kobe's a main character in the live action.
I feel like that's the thing. After like the end of the first season, I feel like that's gonna stop.
Yeah, I think
because Garp will be around less
because
too, because
Garp-
they kind of just ended that little arc with him of
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm not going to chase you anymore.
Yeah.
You are on your own.
Yeah.
I won't come after you, so you won't see us, but like just know there will be a lot of others.
Yeah. I'm not coming
that
after
opens
you.
the door
but,
for them.
But
That
I hope
opens
you
the
know
door
that
for all
me
that
not coming after you is a
Yeah.
You don't have me. I can't
I
protect
can't
you.
protect you
And
anymore.
I won't.
Yeah.
But this is, I think, again, this is also a really good show of like how oblivious Luffy as a character is to any of the actual dangers.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what makes all of the things that he stumbles into going forward even more engaging. Because you're like, he's still so naive, but then he's facing all these hardships and these...
He still thinks it's a game.
Yeah.
Like when he was a kid, like it's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's those reality checks that turn him into that character that we all love, and is like, it don't matter.
Yeah.
He's gonna do him. Like,
Yeah.
He will always do what he
He
wants.
just has his own way.
How did you feel about the slight changes of like, okay, here's my actual question here. How did you feel about not having bum 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 bum?
I was
as
fine.
they were like
I
getting
was
ready to go down and walk on.
I was
Arlong
fine
Park.
with it because we got We Are in the finale.
I mean, it's disappointing.
But it also wasn't like, it wasn't surprising, but it was disappointing.
That's one of the like most iconic scenes you'll ever get in One Piece.
Or at least we got the hat. What were your guys' like top 3 standout characters in this adaptation and performances? For me, I would maybe go Kuro in no particular order. Kuro, Sanji, and Garp.
Interesting. Do you have any reasoning behind that?
Wait. I want to before you
Or do you
before you
wanna just
go,
go through it? Yeah,
before you go
okay.
into that, let's hear yours, Ethan.
Okay, my 3. I want to say Nami was a solid, like, that was really good. I feel like she kind of killed it in doing Nami.
She had actually watched One Piece before getting
Yeah,
casted.
I ain't gonna hate. Like, that was one of my favorites. I feel like Kobe was very good. I really liked how they did him. And I mean, it's kind of it's a toss up because
I did like Helmeppo a lot.
Yeah, he was pretty solid too. I don't know. I feel like for me the third is the toss up between Zoro and Luffy. They're both phenomenal actors and they did their roles justice.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Okay, so for myself, I would say I really loved. I didn't think I was gonna love him as much. Buggy was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Buggy too.
Buggy was
I love Buggy.
awesome. Now, mind you, I do agree with you guys. Actually, quite a fair amount on your two lists.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to put other people that I thought did give a standout performance. Kaya.
Yeah.
Kaya
that
was
good.
awesome. That whole
Very
arc,
good.
that whole like part of it, like that little section of
Village
it,
arc was
Syrup
awesome.
Village was wonderful. Oh my gosh, they did a great job. And
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think I will have to concede though. I think Kobe was the character that I was surprised but also appreciative to have so much time with.
Yeah.
Where because I feel like I don't get to. I feel like I've gotten to have like, everyone else in the show did a great job of doing their characters justice while also kind of being themselves, like still portraying themselves within the character, but we don't really get to see much of Kobe. So like it was really nice to be able to.
I love his like dynamic compared to like Luffy's because they are similar in a way, but they're also personality wise so different. And it's the fact that one wants to become a pirate, one wants to become a marine.
He just wants to like look at it this way. Kobe just wants to be king of the Marines, and Luffy wants to be king of the pirates.
Yeah, pretty much.
They just want to be on different sides of the law, but have a lot of similar like political probably views and opinions. I would assume.
And I think it shows very much in either the anime or live action. It just shows the character that Luffy is, where he can like get someone who may not have any confidence in themselves and kind of just change that within a few days or even hours probably.
Yeah, he sees
having good decent conversation.
It's that ability that he has that is just like he will make you believe in the version of you he sees you.
Yeah.
He's like, you got this. Like, don't. Why are you saying you don't?
He's got his own talk no jutsu.
Yeah, literally.
But it's like no talk no jutsu.
Roger no jutsu.
Yeah.
D no jutsu.
D no. Yeah, I was gonna say D no
It's
jutsu.
that Willa D, brother. It's that Willa D dragging him all behind. All just Luffy collecting a bunch of motherless teenagers to be part of his crew.
Honestly, I actually just hold up. You made a point of this. Nami actually really did an amazing
Bro,
job.
She did.
Emily Rudd
I
did
was so
a
happy.
fucking killer job.
Especially in those last few episodes.
Yes,
Dude.
I think they also those last few episodes, whilst
Of course I can. I love him so much.
whilst they were definitely paced differently, they hit a lot of the same beats.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like shot in a similar way that the actual like manga and anime present it.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really they've done such a good job in just kind of like keeping true to their main thing, like the main storyline, but knowing that, you know, they really do have the ability to have a bit more nuance with their characters. Yeah. Like the fact that Sanji comes in. Also, yeah, Sanji was
So charming.
fucking
He's so charming in his
amazing.
fucking adaptation,
Yeah.
man. He's not that he's not charming in the fucking anime.
I
but,
just
like,
I think overall the acting, like the people they chose for actors were solid.
They also
Right on the
seem to
money.
have just
Yeah.
like we talked about, like from those cast videos and the interviews, they seem to have just amazing chemistry.
Yeah.
And
They get it.
I hope that continues when they continue to add Straw Hats on, that they all can
Like
keep that chemistry.
I hope
going.
I do hope that it is a, mind you, I mean, this is a bit more like taking it away from the actual show, but it's that same idea as like I kind of hope that they do get along.
Yeah.
Because they do a good job of showing it like they get along.
Yeah.
Because they get along so well on screen,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm rooting
really
that
hope
you
for
guys
that.
are actually enjoying yourselves with
It's
this.
like a
because
new crew. It's like a new Straw Hat crew that you. It's like another Straw Hat crew that you want.
Yes.
to
Yeah.
root for.
100%.
And
You want to see them all enjoying themselves outside of the show in its own right.
Well,
Dude.
just booking that show as an actor is just like a crazy fucking
Yeah.
feat as well.
And
like,
then, I mean, like, geez, the amount that Taz Skyler, the guy who plays Sanji,
does his own stunts.
does his own
effort.
stunts.
The
He's
effort.
grown so much, like,
Stunts,
exponentially.
He does go like a lot of the actual cooking. Like he took
Yes.
time to
Also
learn
didn't realize the
martial
guy who
arts
played
on top of
Zoro-
that too.
The guy who played Zoro, I don't remember his name, but he has been in like
So
any
many.
live action anime adaptation you can think of. He's very likely been in it.
Oh my God, he is like he's so
He's like a
some big
seasoned
stuff.
live
Big.
action
He's
adaptation.
and this is what I think is so
It's cool.
impressive about this roster, this show. It is so accessible. I mean, that's always kind of been the case with One Piece. I feel it's a world show,
Yeah.
but it's just presented in an anime style. This is starting to really show and kind of like consolidate that. I mean, putting the sub VAs over
that was a
that's
great
super
call.
cool.
Yeah.
Like there's so many
The
little
legitimate
things that they're doing.
Voice actors being put over top, which is really
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, it's also great because now you can get it. You can now watch this live action dubbed in Japanese.
Yeah. It's really cool how they did it. I'm like, and they took the time to be like, okay, you guys are the voice actors. Come in and do your voices. We'll pay you. Obviously, that's kind of part of the job.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see how like it's a whole different take on it too.
Yeah.
Because
This
you don't
whole-
usually see a Japanese dub as much when it's
Yeah,
an English
exactly.
Yep.
made movie.
Exactly.
There's something about the way they actually like physically filmed it that made it seem like obviously this One Piece is not our world, it's based in a fantasy world, but like the way they filmed it, they had a lot of like weird glare and it almost felt like a dream. Like the way they filmed, you could see like the edge of the camera, sometimes it was blurry when they'd pan over. It kind of gave this sense of like this is a dream or like we're telling a fairy tale, something like so triumphant or like something like that. It gave me that vibe.
To a degree, I mean that's kind of the world that they're in. Like there's a lot of
It was
also
live
the
action, but it still
realism.
didn't
It's also
feel
the level
real.
of story
Yeah.
they're telling because it
And I
is
think
a dream that we're following
yeah.
in a way.
It is his dream.
And I mean, if we're being quite fair with this, like the whole space of One Piece really is connected in that idea of like we are bigger and larger than life. All of these, like our villains, our our structures, our systems are massive, but we get to make it also bring it down to this really small and real place. So they have a lot of scope, and I think that they're setting themselves up really, really well to continue on.
Well, they've already confirmed their second season.
Yeah.
It seems they've casted. If they've confirmed and written it, I would assume they've casted it, or they're getting near. The biggest thing is probably going to be like Chopper. I think what I've heard is that it's not going to be CGI.
Yeah,
I've heard that it'll probably likely just be like a kid with like fucking
Fair
antlers
enough.
on or something,
Like a
kind of
little
thing.
furry kid.
That's my prediction, at least.
that
a
would be
little furry.
It's a little weird.
Or are they gonna do like Sonic, and we're gonna have to riot and like be like, this is disgusting, make it different.
No.
We have Oda. We have Oda
pull a
for
Robin.
I feel like there's some trust now with what we've got that it's like,
Well, let's just hope that
yeah,
they
there's
keep
it's
it
hope.
going.
You're being
Yeah.
hopeful about it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
obviously you're gonna
To
be
be-
scared and worried.
to be fair, I was before this. At this point, I trust them.
Okay. Well then,
You know what? Like
I'm still a
overall,
little
this-
worried at some stuff personally because
Me
it's like
too.
I really hope
there are some
you do it
bigger things they have to
justice.
cover and bigger feats and bigger
Yeah.
moments of CGI even, and
100%.
Oh,
they're gonna
Crocky.
need even bigger budgets
Yeah.
going in for the next
Insane.
season. Like,
Well, and I mean that's kind of the crazy part too. These are all going to like as we get further down into bigger arcs, into
Yeah.
bigger fights, into bigger moments. This show is going to be hour-long movies. Like these are like
probably.
that's the
I
quality.
wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing movies like that.
I'm not. I wouldn't like that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm imagining is going to start to happen. And
like maybe they just do like this could be like people could be skeptical and it could be worrisome, but they could do just like a 3-hour movie on one arc.
Yeah.
Even
depending,
Do a trilogy of movies and it's like NES, Impel, and Marine.
Yeah, why
That'd be
not?
kind of sick.
but
that'd
that
be pretty lit.
to that degree, I would rather it be something of that nature where we get like maybe like an hour and a half of each of those. But
the
at
way
the same
I see
time,
it, with the 12, with them wanting 12 seasons,
They got to go fast.
I doubt they're gonna do movies.
no, they're not.
If
doing
anything,
this.
maybe the last part of the series is a movie,
Maybe,
or it's just a
yeah.
2-hour episode even.
But it's even like it's just the way I see it is like there's no like there is a reason to do movies, but there's also not because you can fit a lot more into episodes of TV.
100%. It would be
It's gonna
more
be
of a
full
disservice where you're gonna have fans who are rioting
Yeah.
because of how much has to get cut to fit to a movie audience's.
Unless you're doing like smaller little arcs that could be fit into a movie, which would be just like an episode thing.
Which I mean, like Jujutsu Zero.
Yep.
Like that's
possible.
it was realistically that's the first couple
Demon
episodes.
Slayer.
That's the first couple episodes of a season.
Yep.
But they were like, or we could give it to them all at once and do it as a movie.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit easier to kind of digest.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And then there's the big three where they're like, we're just going to make movies.
We're just gonna.
And
And they're not
matter.
going to be a part of the
Yeah.
story.
Oh
Yeah.
well, no. You know what though? To be fair,
Except
the big
for
three,
the one Naruto movie.
Yeah.
the big three are there
The
to be
last.
like,
Yeah.
let's make some money.
Well, yeah, back then it was very common to be like, hey, we can make movies that don't actually have to do anything with our story and still make a crap ton of money.
Because people love the
We
characters.
love the characters.
Want to be with them.
Yeah.
And it
So-
also helps them put more budget into their show. And
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It helps bolster the animators, the writers, all the.
because it's better, I would say, in my opinion, you could make a movies like that rather than do filler. Because filler, you're not making as much money on, in my opinion. But
Yes, but I mean, sometimes it's also a matter of like they have a deal.
Yeah,
with
deals, obviously, yeah.
If they're already
Signed
pre-written
contracts.
in, yeah. They're like, oh yeah, we have a 5-year contract where we have to produce X amount of episodes per season.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if we're
Yeah.
caught up or not. You need to put filler in so
Yeah.
that we fulfill the part of the.
I'm so glad that's kind of been filtered out.
It's becoming a
Into
lot
newer stuff.
less.
Is live action one
It's-
piece just one
agreed.
piece?
If there is any form of filler, it's now a OVA style where it's like, hey, it's a side story that isn't part of the main.
Yeah.
If you want
That's
it, you
like
can
what
have
Dr.
it.
Stone has done, Attack on Titan's
Yes,
done.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like if you
Yeah.
want more content, we're producing it. It's just not going to be.
Haikyuu's done that too.
It's not going to be the same quality, but it'll still be pretty decent.
Yeah.
But even still, you do get some filler-esque things. I mean,
Yes.
Jujutsu Kaisen's the start of Shibuya arc. The very start where we have Itadori going on his date.
I'm baffled right now.
It's a
Like that's like, would that not be kind of considered filler because it's like,
No, it's necessary.
I think you need
is
that
her character necessary?
I need to feel good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I haven't seen a lot of it, but from what I understand, the
For
Shibuya
once.
incident is fucking tragic. So you need that lightheartedness.
No.
before that.
But that's what I'm saying. That is what a filler is
You know,
there
in
for.
One Piece they have their banquets after fights.
Yes.
I need those beforehand things sometimes. And
You
Jujutsu
need to be
Kaisen
prepared, man.
does like you watch season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, you're like, damn, that shit was messed up.
Mm-hmm.
But the further you get into this show, you're like, damn, that first season was nice to us, and it's crazy. It's insane, but it's cool. It's really cool the way they do it.
Okay, guys. Then out of 10 Straw Hats, what would you rate this adaptation first season?
I would rate it a solid 5 out of 10 Straw Hats because we only have
Oh, you talk
5.
so good about it.
We only have
Yeah.
5 straw.
Fucking
We,
just give it
hey,
a
give me
shit.
more straw
They said
hats.
5.
We only have. I don't know what to tell you.
I give it a Zoro out of 10. The first Straw Hat. Yeah.
3 swords out of 10.
Yeah.
4 sword style.
1 Usopp nose out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh, so big up
Big
there.
as
Okay.
hell.
I'd give it like
Basically an 8.
I'd give it like I give it a 7 or an 8.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
7.
I-
Seven, I'm
I'd
going
say
7.5.
half. I did
Yeah,
7.5,
I'm landing on
7.5.
7.5.
There are
Like-
some things. There were some things that I was like, ooh, changes.
Yes,
All right.
of course.
But you know what?
Fuck
Even
it.
still, I really enjoyed it.
How are you gonna make it refreshing?
Yeah.
You gotta
Yes.
change some things.
Underrated, by the way. The way they did the Fishman was a little rough, in my opinion. They were still pretty solid.
It's hard.
But the acting, I don't know the actor's name, of the guy who does
Arlong?
was great.
Oh, he
He
was
was
he
cool.
was
He was
good.
really
He was
cool.
good.
great.
I also
I just think the
yeah
whatever the stuff they put on him and
prosthesis
Yeah,
and everything.
prosthetic.
It limits your ability to act and
Yeah,
what you can
it's-
see on their face and stuff.
it doesn't
But
help him. But he definitely killed it.
He
Like,
did
his
it. I
voice
think he
for
did a
that,
good job.
bro,
I think
his
he did
voice
a
was
very good job. Oh yeah.
Right on. Well,
Cool.
hit.
hopeful for the next season. We'll definitely talk about it when it comes out.
Oh
Most definitely.
And let us know what you thought.
Please do.
If you like what you're listening to, we do have video now. Please, whatever platform you're listening on or watching on, please uplift us in whatever you can. Like, subscribe, rate us, do whatever you can to
comment.
Make us, to shoot us up, to uplift
Stalk
us.
us.
So stalk us. Follow
that.
us on Instagram.
Parasocial
DM us.
relationships. Parasocial
Yeah,
relationships.
exactly. And if you want to see us staring into the camera, again, we say watch the YouTube.
Watch it.
And
You're gonna blink first.
and you boys are streaming too, so plug them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Blink, yes.
You can catch me at Story Who Plays, which is the YouTube channel that this is attached to. I stream on Twitch here and there.
He's a killer. I also stream on YouTube, not Twitch, funny enough, under the name Ahiru Ethan, which
We'll have it in the description.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And also
Appreciate that.
check out the Hero HQ podcast.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's
If you're,
it
if
also
you're sick of
has-
anime for a little bit, go and talk. Well, me and Jordan talk about superheroes too. So
It's pretty good.
you're not leaving the
It's pretty
nerd sphere, but you're getting a different kind of vibe.
You're dipping a different toe in.
it's a different nerd sphere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one love, y'all.
Peace.